Real though. Trying to talk that shit straight up though. Don boy, beautiful Saturday. Y'all been enjoying the weather all week or what's up with it? Because if y'all haven't been checking out this lovely weather, I've been out there grinding, canvassing. I've been in Harlem, I've been in Flatbush, I've been in, places I had to go to meet people, to encourage them to give a chance to candidates to vote. Yeah. Shout out to all candidates and people around the city. We need good representation, as I noticed that people love to see results. They have been promised a whole lot from different people, different advocates, politicians and folks, but they want the best. So just give them the best. If you sign up for the job, do the damn job, and that's all you can do. People are gonna either love it or hate it or like it or whatever, but you still gotta do your job. You never make everybody happy, but we need results, and we need results now. That's all I could tell you. Big shout out to everyone out there that's listening, that's been showing love. You made it through the week now, so I gotta entertain you. I gotta keep you right. Bring you the real information that you've been waiting for, because you might not have been able to catch the games all week, and so you didn't know that the NBA playoffs were starting, and that since the NBA playoffs were starting, there were things to pay attention to, like the play-in tournament, first of all, which began on Tuesday. The play-in tournament began on Tuesday, and you had a tough Miami Heat and Charlotte Hornets game where Ben Adebayo, people thought that because the man dropped 83 during the season, that was going to translate into a successful playoff run, and the Heat were on their way. But no, that was just what it was, taking away nothing from what he's done, but it was what it was. And LaMelo Ball goes out there, scores 28 points, and 30 points and 10 assists, and gets that win for the Charlotte Hornets. And they moved on to be able to play, sadly, they were blowing out. But they did play the Orlando Magic. And as I told you last week, if Paolo Banchero shows up, being that Paolo Banchero shows up, it was going to be something. And look, Franz Wagner, he did play. Franz Wagner did play. He had 25 minutes, 18 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and that was it. Franz Wagner, with the help, and Wendell Carter Jr. They have a squad in Orlando. If this Orlando team, led by Paolo Banchero, keeps going at this pace right here, they can be a little problem. And I mean, they can be a problem for more than just Detroit. They're the number 8 seed because they took out LaMelo Ball and these fellas last night. Colin Knuppel, he had a good season. Miles Bridges, they went out how they did. I mean, they were smashed on by the Orlando Magic. They couldn't do anything. Colin Knuppel, 11 points, 3 rebounds, 3 for 10 on shooting. Miles Bridges, 5 for 12 on shooting, 15 points. And LaMelo Ball, 7 for 17 with 23 points and 5 assists. But that wasn't going to help him get over the hump at all. No, because this whole Orlando squad, the whole starting 5, everybody, the whole starting 5 in Orlando, double digits. They went out there to play, not to bullshit, not to play around. Paolo Banchero, 25 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. They wanted to make sure that they get that win and that W. And they was able to get it. They sure was able to get it. I'm thinking that now, if Paolo Banchero and this Orlando squad, you see what they did last night, 121 to 90. They smashed the hell out of the Hornets. They just took away their dreams right there. 31 points. That's the largest margin of victory ever in an NBA play-in. Ever since they've started the NBA play-in, this 31-point blowout has been the worst. It's never been that bad. And we have to say shout out to Franz Wagner and them for showing up. These guys are going to move on to now be playing the Detroit Pistons tomorrow night at 6:30. The other play-in team, another play-in team that won, pretty shockingly, and it seemed like they destroyed some dreams of what they did. The Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns, they destroyed Curry and them last night. Well, they blew them out. They didn't destroy them. They blew them out. And this left question about the future of the Golden State Warriors. Because people are watching and seeing like, okay, well, is Steph Curry and Draymond Green going to stay together? Is there going to be more future play with this Golden State squad that won those championships that they still have hanging up in the Raptors on the banners? We know Al Horford is a champion, but he didn't win with these Golden State Warriors. Al Horford, he even had a good game yesterday. He went out there and he played. The veteran showed up. 26 minutes, 9 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. 26 minutes of time, he did what he could do, And Draymond Green, did not seem too optimistic about the future. Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Coach Steve Kerr, they were hugging at the end of the game in sort of a 3-man huddle. And this was speculation that this might be the last time that we'll see all three together, or there's going to be some kind of shakeups in Golden State and some changes are to be taking place. Because some people think that it's time for Steve Kerr to go. He's been there 12 years. Draymond Green has played 14 years, 2 years under Coach Mark Jackson, 12 years under this man here, Steve Kerr, who took over from Mark Jackson, and then they started winning. But now, 14 years later, it seems that him and Steph Curry and Coach Kerr, they're going to be splitting up. The idea or the notion is definitely out there. It's possible. There are some contracts to be filled, some offers to be made, because these guys are going to be free agents. And the NBA, we have a lot going on that's going to take place, and we have to get straight before these guys can actually, decide if they're going to want to return to Golden State, which likely I would think if you spend that much time in a place, you want to end your career there. You don't want to run around from spot to spot, different jobs. So Steph Curry, more than likely, and I believe he has been quoted that he wants to end his career in a Golden State Warriors uniform. And his brother Seth is over there also at the same time. So this will be interesting to see how it plays out. But it won't play out no longer than this year because that season is over. Devin Booker last night, shoot, man. Devin Booker and Jalen Green. Jalen Green was the answer. 14 for 20. He had 36 points on good shooting, 14 for 20, and 8 for 14 on threes. He shot 8 of them jokers. Jordan Goodwin gave him a hand, shooting 4 of them jokers for 19 points. And then here you go, Dylan Brooks over there, bodying them down, playing physical, and then he's going to shoot you 3. So that they just had right there, that's like, 7, that's 15 threes right there. 3 for Brooks, 4 for Jordan Goodwin, and 8 3-pointers? Jalen Green really wanted to get rid of these Golden State Warriors. He came prepared to play. And Devin Booker, he cleaned up the rest. 20 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds. And this team, this Kevin Durant-less Phoenix Suns team in the afterlife, after Durant were able to take out the Golden State Warriors to advance and take the last playoff spot, which the Suns are going to be facing off against the Oklahoma City Thunder because they're going to be the number 8 seed. This is going to be real interesting and fun to watch. The Portland Trailblazers, they won their play-in, and they're going to be playing against the San Antonio Spurs. This is also going to be a pretty good game. I mean, pretty good series. All these series, the Toronto Raptors and the Cleveland Cavaliers. We're going to break this down real quick. Toronto Raptors and Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm looking at the fact of Toronto, they may have Jake Podol and, RJ Barrett. Those two are going to have to step up because it's looking like Scotty Barnes is going to need help in Toronto. Canada, they want to bring it. But Cleveland, I see with James Harden and Donovan Mitchell in that backcourt, which is extremely dangerous, two guys that know their game and that can elevate a team are going to be let loose. And I think that Cleveland is going to take this series here. They're going to outscore them. I'm looking for Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. They're not going to have 30 apiece every game, but these guys can take it to where they need to because that Cleveland roster is very talented. They have pieces and people that can pick up the play. Evan Mobley, you have, Jarrett Allen the Fro, who's going to also step it up because he's in his prime now. Jarrett Allen, he's about in his prime, and he wants to get busy. Those contracts, those contract extensions, they talk, and people are playing tough to get those contract extensions. And I think Jarrett Allen, he's going to be going to try to get his because it's about that time. Even though he just signed a new deal, I think, a couple of years ago. We'll see. But I think the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're going to have this one over the Raptors. They're going to take this series. Today at 1 o'clock is game 1. Then you're going to have, we're going to go there. We're going to do the East first, and then we're going to do the West. On the East, the next one, we're going to have the Hawks and the Knicks. The Atlanta Hawks versus the New York Knicks. I believe the New York Knicks, they have the overall. However, to break down Jalen Johnson and C.J. McCollum, they're going to have to be slowed down. And this is going to be where OG Anunoby, he gets to step up and beat him. Mikal Bridges, the relative of Miles Bridges. Mikal Bridges is going to have to shut up the naysayers and get the job done. We know he can play defense, but we know he can score and do things too when he wants to. He's athletic and very talented and skilled. He knows the game of basketball. And Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby could be X factors in this series versus slowing down Jalen Carter and C.J. McCollum. Big body Brunson, Jalen Brunson, he's going to have to be that floor general, do what he do, and carry them through there. Karl-Anthony Towns, another X factor. We should be able to dominate in the paint and be able to go through Atlanta, probably something like, 4-1, 4-2, something like this in the first round. 76ers and the Celtics. 76ers and Celtics. This is going to be a pretty sweet matchup. The Boston Celtics are obviously the favorite because Jaylen Brown, he's having such that awesome season. Could have been, and he's still in the rankings for the MVP. So Jaylen Brown, he's going to be on his MVP run while Jason Tatum is returning back and getting better every day, getting more and more used to and comfortable with his new energy, his newfound role, and his renaissance of being back. Because it was a slow start. Now in the playoffs, they're going to be turning the tempo up. Last year this time, the man just came back from almost last year this time where he ruptured his Achilles. You know, it was a fast recovery for him compared to some of the other players like Tyrese Halliburton and Kevin Durant when I'm suffering this injury. So I'm gonna say, in Philadelphia, Tyrese Maxey and Paul George start really playing ball and being focused and driving this Philadelphia team and getting Melton and the rest of these guys over there involved and making sure that this thing doesn't get out of hand or out of control. If they can keep control of the game and the flow, they can have a chance with these Boston Celtics. But I still see Boston winning because Derek White is not trying to lose. He's happy he got his boys back together with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. So Derek White being that third guy, he's going to carry them through. And so I see the Celtics winning this series also, maybe 4-2. It could go 7 games. The only way it'll go 7 games is if Philadelphia is bringing that life and energy, because Joel Embiid is a piece that they need to keep there in that city of Philadelphia. But it's going to be on Paul George's back for him to show them that he is still that guy, for them to go further and do what they got to do. And I will leave it in the hands of the veteran and Tyrese Maxey. He can go out there and do everything else, get the team involved. He knows the squad a little better than Paul George also, because Paul George just arrived there this year. So he could be able to keep that chemistry going and keep these guys going in the right direction. But it's going to be Boston that's going to take this series right there without a doubt. Peyton Pritchard, he's having a pretty good year for Boston also, and that says a lot. Okay, now the Magic and the Pistons. The Magic and the Pistons, I would say that the Magic are looking pretty good with the squad they have. With Jalen Suggs, Wendell Carter Jr., Franz Wagner, and then of course, Paolo Banchero. Paolo Banchero keeps playing at the level that he played at last night, the level that he started the season with before the injury. Detroit could be in for a lot. Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duran, Tobias Harris, they're going to have their hands full. People are expecting the Detroit Pistons to be this #1 team as they was during the season, and let that season stats carry over to the playoffs. But the playoffs is something different. Teams get upset. They look good during the regular season, but when it comes to the playoffs, it's a whole nother different environment and different style of play, because you have to up your game and get rid of the kinks that slowed you down or made you seem regular during the regular season. Now you have to be special in the playoffs. Shout out to the Orlando Magic, but this is going to be a good one. That's going to be a tight series. This one may go to the brink right there. That one's going to go to the brink of elimination. Okay, but it's going to be, I think, Detroit in the end, unless Orlando picks it up and starts going nonstop focus, because Orlando has what it takes. But the Magic, I just think that the Orlando Magic, the last time they played the Pistons, they won 123-107. And then before that, they played earlier in the year. The Pistons won against them by 6, 106-92. So I'm thinking that the Orlando Magic, they're going to be more than just enough for the Detroit Pistons, being that they won against these guys a couple of times during the season. They split the season series, actually, to tell you the truth. They split the season series 2-2, and so this should be pretty close and go down to the wire. Now for the West Coast now we got the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. Now, Anthony Edwards, this guy, He's on fire right now because he is not happy. He played 61 games and is not eligible for an NBA award. 61 games. He wants to take this out on somebody because he filed for an appeal against this NBA ruling for 65 games mandatory to be eligible for any kind of NBA award. He lost his appeal. He lost his appeal, and now he will be trying to take it out against a former MVP, Nikola Jokic, Nikola Jokic, and they're going to be going against each other, and their squad's demeanor will be to win because these guys have fought before, and they're not new to each other, but we know Jamal Murray will be ready. We know that for sure. We know Jamal Murray is going to be ready. We know Gordon is going to be ready. This squad over here, Christian Brown, something about this Denver Nugget team. Every time you want to count them out, here they go. As you see, ending the season, they picked up the pace to remind folks who they are as they had that little slow spell, that little run-in during the season. But now, they're back, they're ready. They're going to be playing the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I think it's going to be a great matchup. Julius Randle, I don't see where, that's going to be too much of a factor with him playing or not playing because Denver has Minnesota's card, being that Minnesota has been going through injury bug a lot this year. Denver hasn't really had that problem too much. However, they have played with some consistency and also some questionable play, but they're going to be okay. Shout out to Denver. I think Denver's going to handle their business against Ant-Man. If Ant-Man turns it on, because Ant-Man gets busy in the playoffs. This guy is annoying, he's sick, he's aggressive, he's playing like, he'd been there before. Some call him Baby Jordan, not like Harold Miner back in the day, but he actually got it. This guy here, Anthony Edwards. Shout out to Anthony Edwards and his Minnesota squad. Georgia in the house, you know what I mean? But I think that Denver will take this series and nobody won't have a problem with that. The Houston Rockets and the LA Lakers, I want to say this one for last, but the Houston Rockets and the LA Lakers, LeBron James versus Kevin Durant. And this has become the new modern day back and forth. I'm not gonna try to compare this to the great ones. It's not Jordan and Magic or any of these guys from back then, but this is special because these are two winners and two elite players, superstars for the NBA in their new roles with their teams. LeBron James has been here now in LA for about 6-7 years now, and he brought them a championship in the bubble, but it's still a championship. And his back and forths with Kevin Durant have been epic. Since Kevin Durant and these dudes were back on the Oklahoma City Thunder team with him and Westbrook and James Harden, remember how that Miami Heat team rolled in there and did them dirty. So I know Kevin Durant from the beginning, where this whole spark of this whole rivalry and this battle started back then. And then he got this because James Harden, he played lackadaisy in the playoffs. If he'd have given it all he got the way that Durant and Westbrook did that year, things might have been different, or they could have been at least a little closer. But Durant has faced LeBron when he was on Golden State winning his chips. Yeah. They had some history and some clashing and fallouts then. And these two guys, these are part of the faces of the league. These are the faces of the league right now. These are the elders that are, the older big bros that's on the way out the door, but they're still here and they doing what they do. They can dominate. So LeBron and KD with their new weapons. LeBron has Luka Doncic, who's going to be out for the beginning of the playoffs, which means that they're going to need to have extended play in order to get Luka Doncic back. So this LA Laker team, everybody is going to have to do their job. They're going to need Austin Reeves to really be him and to go all in. And we know LeBron James, he's already number one. He's their number one option, which he hasn't been in about 2 years. And the pressure is on him now to carry this Laker team through or see what they can do, because he has some pieces. DeAndre Ayton's going to have to do more in the paint, battling against Alperen Sengun. And this could get creative because Alperen Sengun, pretty athletic big guy, but he could shoot and he could, score, get the rebounds. He could, it's going to be pretty interesting to see Sengun and Ayton go at it. Because if Ayton can limit what Sengun can score and limit what he can do on that basketball court and then play well, all the Lakers are going to need is for DeAndre Ayton to at least get him 18 to 20 a game, or at least a double-double. They're going to need double-double every night. Big man style. Double-double, getting in there, you know what I mean? Doing what he got to do to help LeBron and them get them second possessions, second shots, and get them to win. Because Thompson, you know what Amir Thompson's going to do? This is going to be no joke. Thompson is going to go in there and give it all he got. And we see the Houston Rockets being a threat. And I would not be surprised if the Houston Rockets win against the Lakers and it's not just all on Durant, because Sengun and Thompson and the rest of these guys, they can play pretty well. So when you leave the door open, for this LA Laker team to surprise you. The Lakers do have home court advantage. Yes, they do. They're going to be playing today at 8:30, tonight at 8:30 at Crypto.com Arena in LA. Shout out to my boy Roger, my boy Jason, you know what I mean? I know Jason's going to be watching. Jay, I got to hit you up, watch one of these games, or see what's up. But it's going to be ill. KD and LeBron tonight, Saturday Night Live. The NBA lined this up real right, and it happened to be first round action. It's going to be crazy, but this is what we're going to look forward to. And I think that tonight, somebody is going to have to crack over 32. I was going to say 28, but 28 for LeBron, being that, okay, he's not the same him, but he can still, Bull, he has more pressure on him to do it than KD does. Because if Kevin Durant doesn't do it, Alperen Sengun or Thompson can do it. Houston has a squad, and Ime Udoka, this guy, their coach in Houston, you think he didn't draw those plans up, almost airtight, or at least in a pretty good way that these guys can be able to know what the scouting report is on these different players that they're going to play and on the opposite team. We're going to see what happens. And I say shout out to the Lakers. It's going to be a real good one here. And it may be them. When you have the Suns and Thunder, I'm not going to try to break all the way down for you, but I think that the way that these guys have been playing, you saw last night with Green and Booker, even though, shout to Green, shout to Booker, but I'm going to tell you like this, SGA, Chet Holmgren, J-Dub, Isaiah Hartenstein, Alex Caruso over there, you know, doing things, you know what I'm saying, in the back playing defense and moving the front court. I mean the back court. I'm going to Thunder on that. The Thunder may sweep them or the Thunder may take them 4-1. If the Suns win more than one game, you know what I mean, you know, that'll be a surprise. To some, it'll be a surprise if they win a game. But I mean, you know, to go 4 straight sometimes is not as easy as it looks, even though teams do it. So I'm going to give the Suns a game on that. Shout out to SGA and them brothers. They're going to play tomorrow at 3:30. I'm going to look for them to, you know, come out the gates firing, and they should win this game by like 20-some points or at least double digits. Trailblazers and Spurs. Trailblazers, all I'm going to say is, nah, the Spurs is on fire. I'm sorry y'all got to play them in the first round, but at least y'all made it to the first round. Scoot Henderson, I think this is going to be the highlight of his career so far. This is only like, what, year number 2? Scoot Henderson, he's going to have to bring it. He's going to go out there and do what he can do. Damian Lillard, is he hurt right now? Damian Lillard, let's see. If Damian Lillard is hurt, Damian Lillard is not playing right now. He is sidelined with a torn left Achilles tendon. Just to remind you all. Wow. Without Dame time, I don't see San Antonio playing with this Portland Trailblazers team. That's a 4-0 right there. I see San Antonio going in there. Wembanyama, he's still not 100%, but he made his way back so he can be considered for an NBA award by making the 65th game. And this little bit of rest right here, this week rest that he had, that should help some and get them ready to go, because I think San Antonio is going to be one of the animals out here, out the gate, and they're going to be on it to do what they got to do for this season. Stephon Castle, you know what he does. That's my boy there from UConn. Stephon Castle, point guard. No joke. Him and Wemby, that 1-2 punch. And De'Aaron Fox, very active. Do not sleep on a silent killer right there. It gets crazy. Devin Vassell. Coach Johnson is going to have a lot drawing up. Believe it or not. Do not be too surprised at the domination and the flawlessness of what I'm expecting San Antonio to play. If they're not playing up to date or being accurate as I think that they are, then it's going to be a problem, because that San Antonio squad is only them and Oklahoma City in the West. Maybe an interruption if Houston or LA starts to move a different way than what it looks like. If KD starts really feeling it and getting in mode, and LeBron, this is older LeBron now. The Lakers get past the first round, they get past Houston, and Luka comes back, different ball game. But for now, ain't nobody but the Spurs and the Oklahoma City Thunder in the West. So look forward for those games. That's going to go down tomorrow at 9 o'clock, Spurs and Trailblazers. But pay attention for today at 6 o'clock, the New York Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks. Real good game. I'm looking forward to that. Knicks and Hawks, 6 o'clock today. Don't miss it. Be on point. That's the NBA playoffs. Thank y'all for staying with us. We're going to take a tune, take a break. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Beautiful Saturday. Beautiful Saturday. Beautiful Saturday, man.